Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I just wanted to do a little bit of a different video. So actually just taking you along for a few random moments in my kitchen from the week. In particular, this week I had a few things that I wanted to make that I would consider to be nutritionally dense. Just some nutrient dense food that I'm trying to get into myself and into the family. So one thing that has been on my list for weeks to make, when I say weeks, probably months really, is pate. I feel like I go through phases where I'm good about using liver in different meals and then I kind of drop off and forget about it for a bit. But I've been really wanting to do pate specifically for Florence, so our little 2-year-old, just to make sure that she's getting enough iron because she's not super keen on eating a lot of food at this point in time. She is still breastfed, so she's still on the boob, but it's just been a little bit tricky to get her to eat any volume of food, specifically meat. Fruits. Kids love fruits, but meat has been tricky. So I wanted to make sure that she's getting enough iron. So I decided pate is the way to go. It's like a super concentrated form of iron. If you don't know a lot about pate is super nutritionally dense. So liver, we know, fantastic source of iron, B vitamins, B12, folate, choline, vitamin A, selenium. And as a bonus, a lot of these nutrients tend to come in their more bioavailable forms, just meaning that it's easier for us to absorb. For example, the iron will be really absorbable compared to iron that you're getting out of spinach. But yeah, I don't need to extol the benefits of liver too much, I don't think. And I was really just getting back into the hang of making it. So chopped up all the veggies. I'm doing some onion and liver in the pan. A little bit of wine. I think usually they'd use whiskey or scotch to deglaze the pan, but we did wine this time. I've been experimenting with just like some variations on the recipe and trying to get better at making pate, like trying to just really get it down, because if you've never made pate before, it is a little bit of an art, especially if you don't want it to be gritty. And I think this is another thing that I kind of wanted to speak on today, is just about learning new things. So for me in the kitchen, there are some things that just seem to be more intimidating. For example, pate, ferments, even like different kinds of roasts and things. I think they tend to be more intimidating for us because they do require like some amount of finesse. Like there is some amount of learning that you have to do before you can do it well. So it's easy to just kind of avoid these things, but ultimately I want to be able to make all of these really great foods for my family and take care of my family. So just putting in like that little bit more time to do a little bit more research, kind of troubleshoot things that aren't working. Because as I said, gritty pate has always been my major issue. And I found a really great blog post actually, by the way, about troubleshooting through gritty pate. Essentially, the takeaway was, if you're not questioning, like, is this too much butter? Is this too much ghee? Then you're not using enough ghee. You need to use a butt ton of ghee to make pate smooth. I did experiment with cream this time as well, and I'll pop like the recipe that I have running at the moment in the description box below, but it does require just a little bit more refining before I come out with like a full pate video, I think. So I will have something below, but watch this space for a good pate recipe coming up. And I do realize that this is like a very niche topic that we're talking about right now. Only certain people are going to get this, but if you get it, you get it. And I'm just popping the pate into the freezer. So I like to pop them all into the freezer. You can just chuck them in the fridge every couple of days so that we have some fresh pate on hand. And of course we have to do like the official taste test of the pate. Still a little bit like lumpy. I think I need to make some changes, but that's actually really nice. Like I could eat that on crackers pretty easily, or even just like in a spoon. But the most important person is Florence. Will she eat it? You gonna try some, Bubba? Florence just ate like heaps of this. You had so much, didn't you? Do you like it? Did you like it? I'll get you an apple now, but that was a success. We need to get the iron up. I'm getting you an apple. This is the part that I don't look forward to. And I just like to enjoy pate on like seeded crackers. You can buy some pretty good like gluten-free cracker options now at Woolies. Just really nice to have with crackers. Florence can have it like straight off the spoon on like carrot sticks, cucumber, you name it. And I popped some chives on there as well. So that's a really nice little add-in. Also good for like a cheese board night. But yeah, overall I was really impressed with how this version turned out. Hello, it is Tuesday and I am about to start making some dinner. Florence is having her nap. The theme with every meal is we're trying to do it while she's on the nap. Not always actually, I do cook when she's awake, but if it's something that is, you know, gonna be in the oven for a few hours that I need to like make a bit of a head start on, or that's just gonna take like too much time while she's awake, then I will try and knock out at least a bit of it on the nap. Well, tonight for dinner I am going to make a, what do you call it, cut beef short ribs. Tonight we're making beef puppies. Shh. I'm currently looking after 2 dogs, well, Billy, and then my mum's dog, so they're having like little play fights, but we can't wake Florence, it's the only rule. I have my weekly planner here, by the way, so that's what I'm looking back to. For dinner tonight, we are doing beef short ribs. I'm gonna pair it with some mash, with some beans, but I have to make a start on the beef short rib part because that's going to go in the oven for about 3 hours. So even though I'm not gonna toss it in the oven just now, I think I'm gonna make a head start on the prep, just like cutting carrots, cutting onions, so that when I put it on, if Florence is awake, like I can just throw it all together, stick it in the oven, and we're done. So yeah, that's what we're making for dinner tonight. So now moving on to making these short ribs. So as I was kind of talking about before, even like doing different cuts of meat can seem a little bit intimidating if you haven't figured out how to cook them. So again, I think it just requires that little extra bit of time and attention, finding like a good recipe that you want to work with, and like a little bit of practice. Not expecting that it's going to be perfect the first time and just doing it a few more times anyway. So definitely doing these different kinds of roasts has been something that I've been having more of a go at and just trying to like really get down. I don't know about you, but I just want my kids to think like, wow, mum was like really good in the kitchen. Like we had really good food growing up. And like, not even just for my kids, I want to eat good food too. So that is like a little extra motivation for me. But yeah, just cutting up some veg. The recipe that I'm using, I will link below. Some really great recipes over on her website. But yeah, just chopping up all of the veggies to go in. And this is kind of like a French base, I think, when they do like the onion, celery, carrot, and we're just going to kind of do that as the base of the roast. And roasting in general, actually, like I feel like it's this thing that always seems intimidating, probably because, you know, you're just like working with a big hunk of meat. There's that element of how long it has to be in the oven and all that. But really, once you do it a few times, I'm telling you, this is like the key to my afternoon freedom because it's actually so easy. Once you pop it in the oven, it's kind of like a set and forget, and come back and you'll have a delicious dinner. Yeah, I'm also chopping up some potatoes. Going to make a potato mash ahead of time as well, so that there's really nothing that has to be put together at the last minute. Okay, that does us for like this midday dinner prep. I've just got the potatoes on. I'm going to try and get a potato mash up just so that's one less thing that we have to do at night. I'm going to pop these pre-cut veggies into the fridge and then I'll come back later, probably when Florence is awake, and put together the rest of the meal, throw it in the oven, and then we've got the afternoon to do things. So yeah, just really handy to free up the afternoon. Alright, it is going on about 2:30 and I am going to, did we turn the dishwasher on? Okay, alright, we're going to do it on this board. I am going to get these short ribs. What did you find? Oh, some leaves. I'm gonna get these short ribs into the oven and get that all started. And as I am cutting this big hunk of meat, it's probably also worth talking about why I think these meals are like really important from a nutrition perspective as well. So especially like all of these more gelatinous cuts, like a lot of the cuts that are going to require slow cooking and roasting, they are really good for us. So they're a really good source of glycine. It's just good to change things up so that you're not always eating like just muscle meat cuts from the animal. Just gives you like that really good diversity. So learning new ways to cook with these meats can be really beneficial. And again, like slow cooking is also really nice in the winter and really nice for the gut. Like all of those really broken down foods that are easy to digest, they're kind of like pre-digested in a way, even though that sounds kind of funky. And of course, you're also getting all of the benefits that you would get from red meat. So again, iron, B12, all of that goodness. Then I'm just popping everything into our pots. So our veggies, bay leaves, some thyme, wine, and some tomato paste. And then popping our braised short ribs back in. And that's pretty much it. We pop it straight into the oven. And then just making some mashed potatoes, adding in milk, butter, all of the creamy goodness. And our roast is done. So just pulling that out, it's not going to look great. It's not going to look great, but it's going to taste good. So I think she actually even mentions this on her blog. It's like you're going to pull it out of the oven, it's going to look like lumps of coal in tar. But trust me, the meat is going to be deliciously pull apart. And there we go. Isn't that beautiful? And so good for us. All of that gelatin, all of that glycine. And I just also paired that with some beans and mash. It looks like a lot, but there's actually a lot of bone in there too. And I think that just about wraps up this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this style of video, something a little bit different. Just taking you guys along for a few moments of the week, a few things that I made. I hope that it was helpful and interesting. Again, I will link all of the recipes below and you can go check those out. And otherwise, I hope you're all having a beautiful week and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye!